Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahawashi, Bahasham, Barakahak Wadash, Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahawashi. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. In peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the brother Ra'aya coming at you with another lesson. And I'm going to start it off in the book of Obadiah, chapter 1, verse 1. And the header reads, Edom will be humbled. And the biblical Edomites are known today as these so-called white people, so-called Caucasians, Americans, British, Europeans, Russians, the small hats over in the Holy Land, South Afrikaners, Australians, Canadians, etc., etc. And this whole chapter, which is just one chapter, is dedicated to the judgment and the downfall of the nation of Esau, Edom. But it reads, the vision of Obadiah. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from Yahweh, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. And we can see this brewing against these Edomites in the West, especially the United States of America, with this recent situation with Venezuela and Nero 47, making threats to Colombia, Cuba, Greenland, a bunch of different nations. I saw a video the other day from one of the brothers in the Kansas City camp, where in it he had a clip of he could have been a Jake, or he could have been a Hamite or a so-called African, but he was over in Africa and had on military attire. And he said, in the recent situation that's happened with Venezuela, I'd advise you different countries to get nukes. Hey, arise up again and let us rise up against her in battle. But here's the point I wanted to get to. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. And this can go into two things. On the one hand, your reputation on the global stage being made small, which, the so-called second and the third world is looking at you Edomites, primarily in the West, as the reason for all the problems taking place on the earth, which you Edomites are the reason, all these different issues are taking place. But it can also go into your demographics, and contrary to popular belief, you Edomites are actually the global minority, which brings me to this video on Afro Think Tank's YouTube channel titled Extinction Level Event. There are no so-called European kids in 17 European schools in the UK. And when you think of Europe, when you think of the UK, what comes to mind? So-called white people. So as we're going to see in this clip, your demographics are collapsing, not just in the UK, but especially in Europe. Behold, I have made thee small amongst the heathen, thou art greatly despised. And this is a fair use copyright disclaimer. I do not own any of the footage in this clip, nor do I stand to gain from it monetarily. It is simply for educational purposes. And for the brother Afro Think Tank, hey, you're not an African, you're not a Hamite, you're Israelite, but it's neither here nor there. But again, fair use copyright disclaimer. I do not own any of the footage in this clip, nor do I stand to gain from it monetarily. It is simply for educational purposes. And I'm starting it at the 16-minute and 29-second mark.
I do find that crazy. But I mean, that's the world we live in, right? And understand, hey, you guys dished it out for 500 years in the most worst, unhuman way. You guys are getting it the soft way. You should be able to take that. All right. Anyway, that's all I got to say. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section.
And if you run it back, he's pretty much talking about how, with Edomites disappearing, hey, you're getting it the easy way, because you're just going to be assimilated into the different dark nations of people, which, hey, after the first 1,000 years of the kingdom of heaven, what happens with the spirit of an Edomite remains to be seen. But, for that 1,000 years, the first 1,000 years of the kingdom of heaven, of it being built up, hey, you're not going out the easy way. You're going out the hard way, with hardcore bondage and slavery, worse than what the children of Israel suffered through. The children of Israel being known as the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. as it says in Revelation chapter 13, verse 10, he that leadeth into captivity must go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. And then after that 1,000 years, hey, we're going to get into that later on in this lesson.
Think tank, learn something, teach something. I'm out.
I'm really shocked. There are no white British kids in 72 schools across England. So if that's not bad enough, in 454 schools, the figure is under 2%. And in this major survey for the first time, the racial makeup of our schools, it shows that in 1 in 4 schools in England, white British kids are in a minority. It's not racist to point this out. It's sensible to point it out. And it's why so many people feel uneasy and ill at ease about the huge negative impact sometimes through mass migration. We know that illegal migration is soaring. The numbers crossing the channel every day is soaring. And we know that legal migration is still at record high levels. It's got to stop. The impact on social cohesion, on our schools, on our hospitals, on people's way of life is enormous. It's why some people feel like strangers in their own communities and strangers in their own town. And it's why Nigel Farage's Reform UK is motoring ahead in the polls, because they're the only political party that's willing to talk about this. It's why I'm willing to talk about it. These figures are really, really disturbing.
Watch this, yeah?
There is not a single white British child in 72 schools across England. How does any country expect assimilation?
Now, I might not know what expecting assimilation is, but I do know why there are so many non-white children in British schools. It's because Britain went to all these countries all over the world. Canada, Jamaica, Guyana, Nigeria, Ghana, Zambia, India, Bangladesh, Syria, Australia, Papua New Guinea.
That's just the British Empire. Hey, as it says in Habakkuk chapter 2, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, and his desire is as hell and as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all peoples. Being a colonizer is the history of you Edomites. And, hey, with how raw he's about to get on you Edomites, and, he looks like a so-called Edomite. He could be a Jake, but this is shameful spewing upon your glory, because, up until recently, you used to take pride in, your empires, your colonization, your George Washingtons and the founding fathers. But as more history came out about how diabolical, you Edomites dwelt with peoples of color and, grape robbing and murdering them, especially the children of Israel. Hey, now you're ashamed of this history. And, if this guy is an Edomite, hey, what is this saying? I think Sirach 41 or 42, they shall be ashamed for what their fathers did, because they're being reproached for his sake. These Edomites are feeling the heat because, again, I made thee small amongst the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. These nations are calling you out on your bullshit and what you and your forefathers did. You don't like it.
We went to all these countries and we said, hey guys, you know what's really good? You know what's really amazing? Britain. Britain's really amazing. Who wants to learn English? Who wants to learn cricket? Who wants to have their country's laws based on Britain's laws? Who wants us to look after some of your stuff? Or just take some of your stuff? Hey, India, you want some railways so we can take more of your stuff faster? Hey, Jamaica, do you want some people that we've stolen from Africa who we're going to put here, make them work for free and torture them and whip them and beat them so we can grow sugarcane and enrich ourselves? Britain did that. Britain did that of its own volition. Nobody from India came over to Britain and said, hey, you've never seen us before, you know nothing about us, but, can we come here? No, we went there and told them how great it was. And you know what really, really fucks me off about so much of the discussion of immigration is often it's framed as immigrants coming to Britain to contribute to Britain as part of the Windrush generation, or to emigrate and to build and contribute to Britain once they'd emigrated here. But everybody seems to forget that most of those non-white children in British schools had parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents who built Britain without ever setting foot in Britain. They made Britain a wealthy and powerful country through the labour that they carried out in Jamaica, in Nigeria, in India, in Zambia, in countries all over the world. Huge British cities like Glasgow, Liverpool, Bristol that flourished from the slave trade, where factories flourished because they were exporting to the empire. Britain went out, took land and resources and people from all of these countries to build up a huge amount of wealth. And now that it's got the wealth and the artifacts in the British Museum and everything else that it has plundered, people like that snivelling little toe rag get upset about it. That now the people who generated that wealth, who created it, want their children to come here and have just a tiny sliver of the benefit of the country that they built. Fuck off.
Europe is losing its people, and this is
Straight to the
concerning
point,
considering
just
that the
like
world
that.
witnessed a population increase of a staggering 70.2 million people in 2024. Asia gained 28.6 million, Oceania 600,000, while Africa had the biggest increase in population, 35 million people. South America's population grew by 2.6 million, and North and Central America by 4.6 million. But Europe was the only continent that lost people, despite significant immigration from North Africa, the Middle East, and South Asia. The total decrease in 2024 was 1.2 million. But why? First, the average birth rate in Europe is around...
Why? Because of biblical prophecy. Again, I've made thee small amongst the heathen, thou art greatly despised. And the natural Edomite man, the so-called white man, doesn't desire women. He's a natural sodomite and really only deals with women to, reproduce. Outside of that, it's, the boys' club for him. As it says in Daniel, I think Daniel chapter 11, he has no desire for women. And then on top of that, your own women are turning against you because the curses are starting to come upon you. And what do you see? A lot of these so-called lily white women out here dealing with men of color, especially, the men of the tribes of Israel. They want some of that, British broadcasting channel.
1.5 children per woman, which is below the replacement level of 2.1, needed to maintain a stable population. Secondly, many countries in Eastern Europe experience high emigration rates, with skilled people moving to the United States and Canada. And then, because of the war in Ukraine, death rates have increased in both Ukraine and Russia. With many men at war, birth rates have collapsed in both countries. And that's why
Europe is running out of people, not in the future, not in theory, right now. A chilling chart from the Financial Times reveals something no one is ready to talk about. The birth rates in Europe's biggest economies are in free fall. France, Germany, Italy, all plunging below the critical replacement level of 2.1 children per woman. By 2020,
And I believe in America, you Edomites have had a negative birth rate.
that number hovered around 1.5, and it's not bouncing back. What does that mean? It means fewer children, fewer workers, fewer taxpayers. Entire economies aging faster than they can reproduce. And no, this isn't some sci-fi collapse scenario. It's already underway. But here's the twist. It's not just biology. It's not that people can't have kids. It's that more and more people are choosing not to. Why? Because in today's Europe, starting a family feels like a financial death sentence. Skyrocketing rent, outrageous childcare costs, no space, no support. The price of diapers might as well be gold. And then there's the cultural shift. People are delaying marriage or avoiding it entirely.
And hey, that's another aspect to it. Your whole society is built off of death and not life. Hence why you got these schmishmortion clinics out here. You know, you've got feminism, the breaking up of the nuclear family, which, you know, goes back to the Communist Manifesto, and just this, you know, hyper individualistic, capitalistic society to where people are only concerned about filling their own bellies, you know, not looking towards the future and preparing the next generation, but just, you know, consuming in the present.
Career first, stability second. Kids, maybe never. Add in a generation crippled by climate anxiety, wondering if it's even ethical to bring a child into a world on fire. And you have a recipe for demographic collapse. But here's what no one wants to say out loud. This is not just a European issue. This is the future of the West, especially white European nations. America isn't far behind. Japan, already there. South Korea, even worse.
And who is Japan and South Korea major allies of? And they followed, you know, hook, line, and sinker after their system. The West, primarily America. I remember reading a book, I think it was either Fast Food Inc. or Fast Food Nation, which in the 80s, which, you know, if you look at the history of Japan for the 80s, they were hyper, you know, in a hyper capitalistic, you know, mindset. And, you know, they were building themselves up and, you know, to be a major power. But, you know, they had an economic bubble that popped in a depression, and they've been in a decline since. But I remember a quote from there where a Japanese businessman was saying, look, the more McDonald's hamburgers we eat, the more white features you get, the more blonde hair and blue eyes you can get, just showing the complete, you know, colonized mindset. And hey, now you see, you're following after them. Birth rates declining, family and children declining, your society's declining.
We're looking at the slow motion disappearance of entire populations. Nations that once ruled the world now struggling to simply replace themselves. Meanwhile, the global picture paints a very different story.
Hey, that was a powerful point he made. Nations that once ruled the world, you know, now, you know, facing disappearance, which, you know, we'll leave it off at this point. But hey, this is the book of Job, chapter 20. I'm going to start at verse 4. Knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon the earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment? And the wicked in the scriptures, the border of wickedness in Malachi 1 verse 4, and the wicked whom the earth has been given into the hands of in Job chapter 9 verse 24, are you Edomites. And, you know, beginning with the Renaissance, when you came into this little season, key word, little season of your final rulership. Hey, you've been running roughshod over the planet, and, you know, you've gained possession of it. But hey, as I said, the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment. While it's felt like a long ass time, it's only been around 500 years or so, and we can see that you are at the end of your rulership, hence why you're losing power on all fronts, economically, militarily, and any bit of morality you ever had. Though his excellency mount up to the heavens, and his head reach unto the clouds, which we can tie this back to, you know, Obadiah. The pride of thine heart or mind hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks, in the highest positions of power, whose habitation is high, and saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Though his excellency mount up to the heavens. What, you got these skyscrapers, which, what does that name literally imply? You scrape the sky, and then what? You know, the space race with these low orbit satellites and space stations. Verse 4, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle. And what nation has been known to use the eagle as their symbol throughout history? You Edomites. Look at Rome. Look at Nazi Germany. Look at America. And though thou set thy nest among the stars, you know, your space stations and satellites, thence will I bring thee down, saith Yahweh. Though his excellency mount up to the heavens, and his head reach unto the clouds, yet he shall perish forever like his own dung, or shit. They which have seen him shall say, Where is he? He shall fly away as a dream. He shall not be found. Yeah, he shall be chased away as a vision of the night. The eye also which saw him shall see him no more, neither shall his place any more behold him. So while you're in a demographic and population decline right now, you're going to go into hardcore bondage and slavery for the first 1,000 years of the kingdom of heaven. And then after that first 1,000 years, the entire nation of the Edomites, man, woman, child, young and old, are going to be gathered up and permanently coaled from this planet with fire. Your nation is no longer going to exist. Hence why it says, they that saw him shall see him no more. This is Job chapter 18. Let me see where I want to start. That's a lot of meat here. I'll get to the point. Job chapter 18 and 16. His roots shall be dried up beneath, and above shall his branch be cut off. And you know, when a tree gets uprooted or branches get broken off, what? That tree dies and no longer exists. Think about a family tree, a lineage, your roots and your branches being dried up, ripped up, and cut off. His remembrance shall perish from the earth, and he shall have no name in the street. He shall be driven from light into darkness and chased out of the world. He shall neither have son nor nephew among his people, nor any remaining in his dwellings. And a son and a nephew is what? The males, which is where someone's lineage comes through, the seed. So if you don't have any more males, that means your nation no longer exists, because whatever nation of man deals with a woman, it doesn't matter if the woman's of a different nation, that child, that seed is going to be the nation of that man. Verse 18, they that come after him shall be astonished at his day, as they that went before him were affrighted. When you're taken out of power and these nations in the kingdom, you know, while they're also in slavery, see you in this low position of power, they're going to be astonished, as it says in Isaiah 14, is this the man that made the earth a wilderness, that ruled the nations in anger? How art thou become as weak as thee? As they that went before were affrighted, these nations that saw you in the power of your heyday, that wouldn't even dare think about going against you. But now all these nations are turning against you and ready to go to war against you. Verse 21, surely such are the dwellings of the wicked, and this is the place of him that knoweth not the Most High. But now we're going to close it out back in Obadiah. We're going to jump down to verse 18. But the header reads, the day of the Lord and the future in the kingdom of heaven. And the house of Jacob, the southern kingdom, so-called Negroes, shall be a fire. And the house of Joseph, the northern kingdom, so-called Latinos and Native Americans, a flame. All 12 tribes back together in the kingdom of heaven ruling. And the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining, son nor nephew, root nor branch, of the house of Esau, for Yahweh hath spoken it. After that 1,000 years, there's going to be that Basra bonfire, and that's going to be all she wrote for the wicked. But that's it with this video. With this video, I hope you sincere, Akim and Akwath were edified. Just keep strong. We are almost out of this final wicked captivity of the heathen nations, chiefly of the Edomites. And as always, I'm going to say Abad Babal, Kwam Yasharallah, and until next time, Shalom.